Salutations, skate sluts. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be putting together a whole brand new setup. Now, I've actually picked up myself a new sponsor as well, which is going to be talked about in this video too. And I'm also going to talk to you about why I choose each piece of the board and why I will never likely change some of these parts out, because some of these are just so god tier. I can't imagine a life without them. So with all that being said, let's start with the grip job. Let's take this and go sit over here. So you guys know me, I like to do some jazzy grip tapes most of the time, and while I didn't have any special graphic grip tape for this one, I had a bunch of like pre-cut pieces from old grip jobs. That's what we do, right? When we cut up a grip tape and there's a bunch of pieces spare, we just chuck them in a box, and this is those pieces from a bunch of different grip job videos. So I've got an idea for those. We've got an Escapism 8.25 here. There's still a couple of these left on our website, but sadly if you're from the US, you won't be able to order them because the delivery cost is like the same price as the board. Oh no! But hopefully we'll be able to fix that in the next one. And a little sneak preview up for you, I'll put on screen the next graphic. It's a Land Rover inspired Escapism graphic. It's got like the Land Rover with a whole skate park stacked up beside it. I love that one. I cannot wait to put that into production. But yeah, today we're doing the second graphic, the Escapism Series 1, which, don't get it twisted, is actually the second board we released. The Escapism Series 0 was the first one. Don't know why I did that. I just felt like it was the right thing to do at the time. So now we're gonna get ourselves into this one. This is obviously an 8.25. If you guys are ever wondering what size board you should skate, I'd recommend anywhere from an 8-inch to an 8.5-inch for the first board, just to try it out, but 8.25 is where it sits perfect for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick rough draft of the grip tape, because I did do this at home, but I wanna just quickly run it by holes first. So the idea is white in the middle, that one there, and then I'm thinking underneath, see, I'm literally just freestyling at the moment. We go something like that, then that, and that underneath. And then we can cut one of these in half to put there and there. And then underneath that, we can go done. Or even like this, bang. By the way, I'll put timestamps underneath, so if you're not interested in this grip tape jargon, then you can skip ahead to me actually setting my board up. All right, so you've got a rough idea of what we're doing for the grip job. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch all of it, as Holly wants to take over, as she knows how. Even if I mess it up by like a ½ centimetre, Holes is getting mad. So she's going to quickly set this up, and then we'll get to the board setup. Skip ahead. Now. And there we go, the board is set up. Managed to use a few of these brickwork pieces, a few triangle pieces, and then the white pieces too, and then just a big slab for the top. Pretty happy with that. Let's get the rest of the setup going. Right, so the bolts don't really matter at all for a setup for these. I've just got the independent ones, some 1 inches. I think 1 inch is the best, because I think 7/8 doesn't quite make it through if you want to switch to riser pads or something. But yeah, these ones are my personal favorites. Just gonna poke the holes through here. There we go, we've got our little silhouettes. All right, so now that the bolts are in, we've got our trucks, and this is actually the new sponsor of myself right here, Slappy trucks. Now, last year I went to a trade show in like January, which is like where a bunch of brand owners meet up to discuss products and what's going to be in the new catalogs and stuff like that. And at that point, I met up with the guys that were doing the flow sponsorships for Slappy, and they were like, "Oh, you should try these new trucks. They've just come to the UK." So I was like, "Yeah, all right." Was hesitant at first, but eventually I did decide to give them a go. I put them on my setup at the time, and to be honest, I'd only ever skated Independence, Funders, Ventures, and Fracture, and maybe a few miscellaneous brands before that. And I was always like, Independent are the best, they're never going to be beaten. But Slappy actually makes some of the best trucks I've ever skated, if not my favorite ones of all time. And I'm not just saying that because they're Flow Me products now. Like, I hunted down this sponsorship. Originally, like a few months ago, maybe like a month ago actually, I was in talks with Ace and getting a sponsorship from them, but sadly they didn't have any space on the team, and I'm actually very, very thankful for that, because if I'd end up on Ace, which is what I was trying to do at the time, then I would have not even had the opportunity for the Slappy truck sponsorship. And to be honest, I actually much prefer these to the Ace trucks. Now, I'll give you a little lowdown on why that may be, and that is because with all kinds of trucks, they all have very, very subtle nuances. Now, loads of people will say like, oh, there's so much difference between this truck and that truck and this truck and that truck. And while that may be the case in some situations, unless the truck weighs a considerable amount different, I don't find it skates much different. Like I tried the Royals, the Magnesium Royals recently, and they were just far too light for me. Like they made my board feel like a helium balloon, like it was going to take off into the distance. The second I popped any tricks, and I didn't really like those. I was skating the Aces for a while and I did really enjoy them, but after a while I feel like I was hanging up a lot on stuff like getting wheel bite, for example, because like the turning circle on them was quite wide, so when you would lean you would easily hit the side of the board, and for some reason I never got that on Independence or Slappies. Maybe it's just because I was skating the Aces looser. It's likely just a user error probably, because like I said, I'm not a truck master. I don't know every detail, every tiny piece of information about any truck or whatever. I just know what I put on the board and what skates nice for me, and for me, Independence and Slappies are my favorite, and Slappies probably actually just exceed the Independence, but only just. Like Indies are still great, and these ones specifically right here, these are a inverted kingpin model. So I don't know if you can see that right there. They've got no bolt that comes out of the middle bit, so when you hit a grind on a ledge or a rail, there's no bolt there to hang up and like stutter you or slow you down. This is just, look at that clearance. Like you've got so much clearance on the truck hanger to the bolt that you really won't be hanging up on pretty much anything with these. That's why I like these so much, and I just think they look really cool. Like they're like halfway in between an Independent and an Ace silhouette, but to be honest, I really rate it. And the Slappy little design on the side on both sides, obviously every truck has their own logo put on there. I just really like this one for some reason. I can't tell you honestly why, it just speaks to me. God knows why. I like Slappy grinds. I'm not the best at them, but I do enjoy them. But yeah, so we have our Slappy trucks. That's our new sponsor. And they're going to be throwing us trucks whenever we need them, which is obviously great because the more money I can save on skateboard parts, the more I can put that into skateboard videos. So big up to Slappy. So I'm just going to quickly tighten these bad boys up. I don't usually use 4 bolts. For some reason, I always either just have 2 or 3, but that's more out of laziness than choice. When someone asks me, I'm always like, yeah, it saves weight, mate, but a couple of bolts ain't really saving that much weight. So yeah, like I said, I don't really know the technical terms and details of like the bushing size and softness and all this, that and the other when it comes to trucks. I just know what I like and what feels good under my feet. And personally, if I was to rank my top 3 trucks, I'd probably put Slappy, Independent, and then Ace if I was going to rank my top 3. And they seem to sponsor a lot of really good skaters like JFAX, and a lot of my friends skate Aces too, so I'm feeling like they're a pretty good choice for anyone that's looking to get into skateboarding or buy a custom setup. For me though, obviously it's going to be Slappies, and if you want to support them supporting me, go buy some Slappy trucks too. They also do a bunch of cool designs. They're not available very commonly in the UK, but you can find them if you really want to. Oh, and one final good thing about these trucks actually is, you know how normal trucks, they come in like the millimeter length. Like you'll find like Independence or Ace or something will come in like 144s, 149s, 154s, all these different like random numbers that are referring to the millimeter of the axle. Whereas these Slappies, they either come in 8.25, 8.5, 8.75. They come in the actual board size, which I don't know why other truck companies haven't done. It's literally a no-brainer. Like when I'm looking for trucks, the last thing I want to be constantly worried about is what size is that, what size is this, what size is that. Just make the truck size the same as the board size, so it just corresponds directly. Obviously, I don't know why truck companies haven't done that more often. You'll have to forgive the constant wearing of sunglasses, by the way. Like my eyes, I don't know if any of you guys have green eyes, but green eyes are specifically ultra sensitive to light. And I think mine are even more sensitive because of when I smacked my head like a couple of months ago. So I have to wear sunglasses because otherwise I'm just like, you'll probably see it in the clips before this, I can barely open my eyes, man. Like, the light fucks me up, honestly. So yeah, let's take these bolts off and start doing the wheels. Now, the wheels on my skateboard are probably the most important part. Now, I honestly could not skate anything that isn't a Formula 4 these days. And if you're wondering what is a Formula 4, you can get tons of different sizes and different graphics when it comes to Formula 4s. These ones are just some ones that I like. Like normally I'd go for a colored one, but all they had was black or like a cream color, so I went for the more whitish one. These are 55 millimeters. right there, one of my favorite wheels of all time. I really like the graphic on this one. They kind of remind me of Tech Deck wheels, this color, because obviously all Tech Deck wheels used to be like this back in there. So let's chuck those on there. And if you're wondering on the price of these things, by the way, £65 nowadays for these. Like back maybe even like 3-4 years ago, these were like 40 quid. Now they're 65, like inflation, anti-inflation busting prices, I'll tell you. But yeah, these are some of my favorite wheels I've had in a very long time. And I actually might even need riser pads to put under the trucks in order to survive the wheel bite on these, because they're quite big, but either way. We've also got Bones bearings. These are the Bones Swiss like competition bearings. I don't really know why they're competition bearings, but when we did our bearing test a few months ago, these ones actually ranked the highest and fastest out of all of them. So I decided to put them in this setup. And the fun fact, by the way, are my $130 bearings, which are in this board right here, are some of the worst bearings I've had in my entire life. Like, I've never had bearings seize up and get messed up. Look at that, more than this. See, like, I've not skated these through water at all. And they're terrible, like a few impacts down some stairs and it completely destroyed them, and they've not spanned properly since. Maybe that's, again, probably my fault. Maybe I did something wrong. There's always something that you could do better, but yeah, they are not looking good, Brev. And these are like...
They're not looking good, Brev.
Big man thing, yeah? It's not looking good, Brev. It's not looking good.
These are like the $70 ones right here, or like £70 or something. But yeah, these are these were the ones that ranked highest in the test that we did. So going to be using these for a little while, see how they go. Chuck that on there. In fact, you know what? We'll put the washers on these ones as well. I don't normally put the washers on, but screw it. We're feeling like a new man today. Hopefully I don't wheel bite super bad. So again, putting them in there like this. If you want to set this up quickly, you just put the bearings in like that, put them on the axle, and then use your palms to push them down. Now, I will say a few more things about these wheels, and that is because they're just so goddamn good. Like, if you've never tried Formula 4s, when I was buying these in the shop, the dude was like, "You skated Formula 4s before?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You never go back, do you?" And I was like, "No." You never go back after Formula 4s. They're just so good. Like, they're perfect for skating streets. They handle rough terrain really well, and they're also hard enough so that you can slide easily around on like concrete and stuff, so reverts work well enough, and when you land with an impact, they tend to absorb it quite well too. So they're by far the best wheels in my opinion. And obviously you can get different kinds of Formula 4s, you can get different shapes. These ones are the conical shapes, which basically means they have a more flat surface as opposed to like a rounded area around there. So yeah, as we're coming to the end of setting this board up, now if you were to ask me what was the best piece for every part of the setup, I would definitely have to say Bones bearings or Bronson. They're also a very good set of bearings. You've also got Spitfire Formula 4s, no brainer, best wheel. If you can't afford it, because obviously they are quite expensive, I understand that, go for like Richter or something like that, but not the Richter Clouds. Just make sure you check what duro they are. Duro means how hard are they. 99 is hard, 80/below 80 would be really soft. I always go for a 99 myself. I find they're the perfect ones. And if you were to go best trucks, like I said earlier, Slappy, Independent, Ace, and obviously if we're talking boards, Escapism all day, every day.
Other than Escapism, what would you skate?
Other than Escapism, I really like Hockey, FA, Santa Cruz, Creature. All right, so it's been a while since I've had a fully brand new setup that I've actually been planning to skate. Like a lot of the full setup boards I put together, I just have like in a closet, in a chest outside the back of our house. I intend to give a lot of them away during Christmas time, because obviously a lot of people can't afford boards, especially in the cost of living crisis. And you guys have watched enough videos to the point where we have a bit of extra money, so we're happy to put some boards out into the environment, you know? Right, so we're looking like our setup is complete right here.
Bye.